the planet! Hack the planet!
Shut up and get in.
Hey there, HackerFrogs. It's me, the Shy Hat, and we are HackerFrogs. Alright everybody, so today we've got another exciting episode of web app hacking. It's going to be web app hacking workshop number 2, and we're going to be working on our good old CTF Natas over at overthewire.org, and as well, during the second segment of today's stream, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a look at some Reddit Infosec communities. So everybody, if you wanted to use Reddit to take a look at different cybersecurity topics, obviously Reddit is a great source of information, but there's so many different cybersecurity subreddits out there that it might be a little bit difficult to determine which ones are the ones that you should be visiting. So that's what we're going to be doing in the second hour of today's stream. But in this first hour of today's stream, we're going to be doing HackerFrogs After School Over the Wire Natas Part 2, which is the second part of our web app security workshops, of which there are 8. First of all, let's take a look at what we learned in our previous session. So this is the second workshop to our Intro to Web App Hacking course. And let's take a few moments to review the concepts we learned in the previous workshop. So we talked about some directory indexing. It's a vulnerability on websites that allows users to see the contents of web directories, which can lead to sensitive data exposed to arbitrary website visitors. So directory indexing is also known as directory listing, and that's where you're able to see the contents of a web directory without any special permissions. So this is a very bad thing, but it's still a very common vulnerability on older web servers. So web applications that were created before a certain date, I would say that the older a web application is, the more likely it is to have this kind of vulnerability available on it. Okay. So, and the other major thing we talked about in the last web app hacking workshop is we talked about robots.txt. So robots.txt is a special file included on certain websites that indicate which files on a site can and cannot be indexed by search engines. So we all know search engines, they go all across the internet and they index websites, and they list their contents, and thus they were able to present the contents of websites to people who visit those websites, those search engines, as search results. But with the use of the robots.txt file, you can make sure that certain parts of your website or certain individual pages on your website are not indexed by the search engine robots. So it can be abused to point malicious users to sensitive parts of the website. So we saw in the previous workshop that the robots.txt file can also point bad guys to potentially sensitive or restricted parts of your website. All right, so we're going to continue on with the Natas CTF. This is the CTF we're using to learn web app hacking, and we're going to be starting with Natas level 4 at this particular address right here. So let's navigate there together. So I will provide the link to the website in the chat. And we just need to reload this, and it's going to ask us, let me make this a little bit bigger. This seems a bit small, although it seems like this box doesn't get bigger. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to enter a username, and the username is going to be the same as the level of Natas that we're on. So this is Natas 4, so the username is also going to be Natas 4. And then for the password, I think this password will work, and I'm going to try it out. If it works, I will provide it to everybody in chat. Okay, so it looks like that might have been an old password. I'm not going to provide it to everybody in chat. So really quickly, I'm going to work through the first few levels of Natus because I forgot to record the passwords. So Natus level 0, all you need to do is go into the source code and then grab the password over here. All right, and then we will proceed to Natus level 1. And in Natus level 1, it's the same thing, but right-clicking has been blocked. So you will get it from the source one more time. And then for Natus level 3, it says there's nothing on this page, but among the nothing on the page, there is reference to robots. So no more information leaks, not even Google will find it this time. Okay, so you will want to go to the robots directory. Sorry, the robots file rather. It's going to be at robots.txt, and it's this directory right here that is indicated that we should not be able to, that we should not access. So we're going to access it anyway. Whoops. Okay, so hold on, I think I'm going to need to redo this. So Natus level 1. I should really keep track of these passwords. Okay, so I'm going to keep track of these passwords from now on. I'm going to keep them in my little notepad. Okay, Natus level 1, and then we will go to Natus level 2. And for Natus level 2, this is the password. And for Natus level 3, sorry if I'm speed running through this, I'm just trying to get these passwords as quickly as possible. So there's nothing on this page. There is this file right here, pixel.png, but as well, we can access this directory directly. Natus level 2. For some reason, they're asking for the password again. Not sure why. Natus 2. Password is this. Sign in. And then we have access to this users.txt file. And the users.txt file has the password for Natus level 3. Copy that, and I will record it this time. And then we can navigate to Natus level 3. So Natus level 3, we will access it from here. And there is nothing on the page, but there is robots.txt. Which indicates that there is a secret. So we will navigate there manually, S, just like this. And then it's going to ask me for the password one more time. And there's the users.txt file here that has the password for Natus 4. Okay, so Natus 4, I will record that password and I will provide the password to everybody in chat so we can start with Natus level 4. All right, sorry about that. Sorry about the delay, everybody. I should really record these passwords. Okay, so we're at Natus level 4, and the username is Natus 4. So one thing we have to understand about the NetSCTF is that occasionally they're going to switch out all of the passwords in the game with other passwords. So this is to prevent people from, well, ostensibly this is to prevent people from sharing the solutions online. But because this game is so well documented, it's it kind of, there's, I would argue as to how effective that is. So let's paste in the password that we got from the previous level, and then we sign in. Okay, so this is where we will start our lesson. Okay, so on this page, the landing page for Natus Level 4, it says, access disallowed. You are visiting from blank string, while authorized users should only come from http natus5.natus.labs.overthewire.org. Okay, so here we're talking about HTTP headers. So because we didn't submit the right HTTP header, we're not given access to this page. So what are we talking about when we're talking about HTTP headers? Let's find out with our presentation over here. So Asadox says refer. Yes, this is talking about the refer header. Very good. And welcome to the stream. All right, so Asadox. I'm not sure how to pronounce that name, but let's celebrate your arrival here with the frog song. So this is a new redeem that I added just today. So that's just a little song that sounds like frog croaks. I thought it was really neat, so I decided to add it to the stream. All right, so we're talking about HTTP headers. So each time a web browser accesses a web page, the browser makes an HTTP request to the server that hosts the page. So this is very very typical stuff for people who already know a lot about how web pages work. But as cybersecurity web app testers, we should know all these basics. If you don't know, this is where you learn. So in each HTTP request, several headers and their values are passed along to the server to ensure that the browser and the server can communicate properly. So there are some examples of HTTP headers, and what info they provide to the web server are as follows. So there's the host header right here, which is the website being contacted. For example, this might be natus4.overthewire.org. This is a host. The next one is the user agent header. This is the type of browser or device that is making the request. So user agent could be something like Chrome with a specific version, so Google Chrome, or it could be Firefox, or it could be curl, or any other type of program that is being used to contact the web page. And the next one is accept. So accept, this HTTP header, is the type of data that should be sent in response to your request. So a lot of the time you'll see */*, and this indicates that any type of data can be sent in the response. Okay, so HTTP headers are very important to web requests, and web requests are very important to getting the contents of web pages. So we covered all these. So please keep in mind that because HTTP headers can be modified by the user before being sent, this means that the values of any HTTP headers could be spoofed, otherwise falsified, through default web browser. Okay, so these things can be spoofed or falsified, although default web browser behavior doesn't allow this. So with your typical Google Chrome web browser, you're not able to modify all of your HTTP headers when you send them. Although there are a lot of web browser plugins that let you do this. So specifically for our scenario here, we're talking about an HTTP refer header. So the refer header is misspelled on purpose. I don't know why it's misspelled on purpose, but it contains the value of a complete or partial address of the web page that is making the request. So this the refer header allows the web server to identify which web page users are visiting it from. So the data from this header can be useful for analytics and logging, etc. However, some developers attempt to use the value of the refer header as a type of security mechanism for which it was not designed. So the refer header, because it can be spoofed, it should not be used as a security mechanism. And now we're going to be talking about the curl program. So the curl program is a command line interface app that is common to all major computer operating systems. So curl is a way that you can use to access web pages from the command line. So this is a program we're going to use to solve this level. And the program allows for access to web pages from the command line interface, but only returns text such as HTML code. This app allows for modification of various HTTP variables which normal web browsers are not capable of unless modified. So we're going to use a curl command to access the web server, but before that, what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you how to open up the command line and how to open up the command line prompt on your Windows devices. If you're using Linux or if you're using Mac OS, there are other ways to do this. But if you're using Windows, you can go down to the search bar over here and click on it. And then after that, you can type in the word CMD. And after you type in CMD, this program is going to be your best match over here. So command prompt, you can click on that, and that's going to open your command prompt over here. So I'm going to see if I can make the command prompt a little bit bigger for everybody to see. And that means I have to go into the options here. So settings. The number of rows. So launch size. Can I make I need to make the font bigger. Appearance. Okay, so appearance. Is there an option for the size? Oh, okay. Wait, no, that's not it. Sorry, I'm fumbling around a little bit. Okay, so let's try to let's just work with the default size for now. Okay, so if you find it a little bit hard to see the text inside of the command line interface, I apologize. I'll try to include the full commands in the chat for everybody to use. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation and see what kind of command we're going to be using. So we're going to be using the following kind of command over here. There's going to be curl, which is the command itself. And then we're going to provide a switch. So this is the -v switch. It's the verbose output switch. So this is going to let us see the request and the response, as opposed to just the response. And then number 3 is going to be the $H, and this is the HTTP header argument. So this is going to let us, this is going to let us put in a custom header into our request. And then number 4 is going to be the user authentication argument. This is going to let us send our username and password along with the request. And then the last thing we send is number 5 over here, which is the web page to be accessed. So I'm going to attempt to access NATS level 4 with our modified refer header in the curl command prompt. So I'm going to paste in this over here. What I need to do is I need to include the username and password. So NATS4, and then I'm going to put a colon there, and I'm going to put in the password. Let me grab the password. I'll copy it, and then I will paste it in. And then the last thing I need to do is I need to include the URL that we need to access. which is Natus level 4. So it's going to be http natus4.natus.labs.overthewire.org. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste this command into the chat so that you can use this command yourself. Okay, so hopefully when you copy and paste this, it'll be fine. Otherwise, there might be some problems with the formatting. Okay, so after we run this command, at the very bottom, so first of all, let's see what happens here. So the first thing that happens after we issue the command is that there's all of this HTTP request headers. All these headers over here are being sent to the web page. But importantly, we've also sent the refer header, which is this right here, and that's natus5.natus.labs.overthewire.org, which is what was indicated when we received the not authorized message over here. So because we sent this header over here, it says here request completely sent off, and then this is the response over here. So the response from the web server over here, it includes the HTTP code, which is 200 OK, and this is the type of response we want to see, and it tells us what kind of server it's running, and it tells us what the content length is, what the length in bytes of what it's sending back to us, and then all of the HTTP code right here. Along with the HTTP code, we're also sent the body of the web page, which is this: access granted. The password for Natus 5 is this right here. So everybody, I'm going to provide this password in the chat for everybody to use, and that's the password for Natus 5. I'll also record this as the password for Natus 5. Okay, and we just learned about how to use, we learned a little bit about HTTP headers and how to manipulate HTTP headers using the curl program. All right, so everybody, we're done with Natus level 4. So in order to get to the next level, we need to go to Natus 5. So all we need to do is modify the number in the URL here, and I'll provide the URL to everybody in chat. So modify the number over here to advance to Natus level 5. And when we arrive at this level here, it's going to ask us for a username and password as usual. So it's Natus 5 is the user, and the password is the one that we just got, and then click on sign in. Okay, so this one here, on this level it says access disallowed, you are not logged in. Okay, so everybody, if you are here at Natus level 5, please type in chat 5 for 5, and then type 5 smileys, or however many smileys that you want. I just want to know who's following along and who's caught up. All right, everybody. So I want everybody to understand that we're still dealing with HTTP headers, and we're going to be dealing with HTTP headers in the next couple of levels. But in this case, we're talking about an HTTP header that affects whether or not we're logged in. So this isn't a typical HTTP header, but an interesting thing about this is that I think this has to do with cookies. This might have to do with cookies, or it might not. Let me take a look real quick. So inside of your web browser, you can click on the 3 dot icon over here, And then you can click on More Tools, this over here, and then you can click on Developer Tools. So after you do that, you can get a lot of web browser development tools over here, and one of those development tools is going to be called Storage. So what you want to do is you want to navigate across the bar over here. If you need to no, it's not storage, it's application. So click on application, and then after you click on application, you're going to see a bunch of information on the side here. There's one tab labeled storage, and then you can click on the local storage button. You can open up the arrow, and then there's going to be an entry for this particular web page over here, notice5.labs.overthewire.org. Okay, there's a key and a value. This is where we would normally keep our cookies, and I thought this might be a level that involved modifying cookies, but that's probably the next level. So what I want to do is I want to access this web page, and I want to make sure that we're logged in. So let me click on, okay, so this is not about cookies. I'm going to exit out of here, and then I'm going to exit out of here. And so we're going to access this page using curl again. So we're going to get out of here, and we're going to go back to our terminal. So instead of our terminal, we're going to modify our curl command a little bit. And remember, in your command prompt, you can access the history of the command prompt by pressing the up and down arrow keys. Oh, I don't seem to be able to. You know what? I can copy it from the chat, and then I can just paste this in. So this is the same command that we used for the last level, but we need to modify it because we're accessing the next level. So the first thing we need to do is we need to get rid of this refer header over here. So we just get rid of this. And then the username, the -u, is going to be for Nodus level 5. And we're going to need to supply the Nodus level 5 password here. So I'm going to copy the Nodus level 5 password, and then I'm going to paste it in. And lastly, we have to indicate that we want to access Nodus level 5. So this is the completed curl command, and I will paste this completed curl command into the chat for everybody to use. Okay, so let's send this off. So after we inputted this this command, we see that we see the web request, and this is the request portion. We send it off. This is the contents of the request portion, and the response portion starts over here. So it says over here, set cookie logged in equals 0. So this is the message that was referenced on this page right here. Access disallowed, you're not logged in. So it turns out that this was a cookie over here, and this cookie is set when we try to log in, and it sets it to logged in equals 0. So what could we potentially replace as the value of logged in to log into this web page successfully? So I'll give everybody a few seconds to come up with an answer, and then we will continue on with the exercise. Okay, so in this case, it says set cookie logged in equals 0, and 0 in programming speak is equal to false. So logged in equals false, not true. What we want to do is we want to set the cookie to logged in equals 1, which would be true. So 0 is false and 1 is true. So what we need to do in this case is we need to send the same request that we did earlier, so this curl command right here. And what we need to do is we need to set a cookie. So let's take a look at the presentation over here. So another extremely common HTTP header is the cookie header, which is used to retain user settings or establish/maintain a user session on a website. So for example, a website has a button on it where on its user preferences page, which sets the web page background for the web page's background color for the website. So on the preference page, there's a button that lets you select a color. Once the color is selected, the web server will send a cookie to the web browser to be used anytime the website is visited, changing the web page's background colors to whatever is specified in the cookie. So in this case, the cookie keeps track of the background color of the website. Similarly, when a user successfully logs into a website, the web server will send a web browser a cookie which identifies the which user session is being used. And the cookie will use that cookie, and the browser will use that cookie each time the website is accessed. So HTTP cookies are essentially what lets you log in as a specific user on a website. Any cookie that is used for user sessions has the potential for security abuse. So it's important that the cookie values created for user sessions are not predictable at all. So the cookie that is being used to let us log in is set as a binary value, either 0 or 1, and that is probably as unsafe as it can get because the correct value for the cookie is very easily guessable. So, all right. So I'm going to teach everybody. So let's now try to use this cookie value to log into the website. So we've got our curl over here, and what we need to do is we need to include a cookie. So let me, so I forgot how to use curl, how to include the cookies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look it up real quick. So in this case, it's a great thing that we have ChatGPT, when I can just ask the question when using curl, how do we send cookies with our requests? And it's going to tell me how to use a specific flag. So to send cookies with your request using curl, you can use the -B option. This allows you to either specify cookies directly in the command line or read cookies from a file, okay? Manly Mutt said, did somebody say cookies? Yeah, we just said cookies. And welcome to the stream, Manly Mutt. Let us welcome you with Go to Hack.
Mr. Hat, may I please be excused from class?
Well, Kyle,
Yes.
you hear me? You go to
Hack.
You go to
Hack.
You
Have a great day. All right. Welcome very much, Manly Mutt. And what we're doing is we're sending cookies using the curl program over here. So it is curl B, and then we send the name and the value of the cookie we want to send. So let's do that. Okay, so we're going to use our B option here, and we're going to specify a cookie. And thank you very much for following, Manly Mutt, and welcome to the HackerFrogs. All right, so Manly Mutt, are you a cybersecurity student or a cybersecurity professional? Manly Mutt says, thought I followed you here. Oh well, did now. Got you off the Infosec website. Well, thank you very much for following off of the Infosec website. Yeah, that's a great website for learning about Infosec streamers. So we're including the cookie logged in, and we're setting it to 1. So this is what this portion of the command does over here. what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this and send it to the chat. So in case you wanted to use this curl command, this is what you would send. Manlymutt says, I am a cybersecurity student through Code Fellows. I have my CCNP but want to get into security and programming/scripting. Well, welcome to the stream, Manlymutt. We're doing our web app security course right now, and if you want to, you can take a look at all the previous live streams over at my YouTube page. Quick shameless plug. So it's youtube.com, and it's going to be at the Shy Hat. I will leave the link in the chat, but you can see us streaming live over here. But you can also take a look at any of the previous lives by going over to the lives tab over here, and you can take a look at all the previous stuff that we've been doing over there. But enough of that. We're logging into Natus level 5 with our curl command. So this is the command, and Manlymutt says, sweet, I'm addicted to labs. Yeah, well, we do quite a few labs over here as well. Every Friday we do, we've been doing a Hack the Box lab, but we're going to be switching over to Try Hack Me because we've recently finished the Hack the Box starting point labs. So we're going to be doing Try Hack Me for a little while, and we might be moving over to hackmyvm.eu after I get a sense for what those are all about. So we run this file, but we include the cookie this time, logged in equals 1, and we see failed to open cookie file logged in equals 1. Oh, did I use the wrong syntax? Notes by Nisha says, me too. Hey, welcome. Welcome, Notes by Nisha. I hope you've gotten a good amount of rest. You said that you passed your EJPT today, and congratulations. Congratulations to Notes by Nisha for finishing her EJPT certification. All right, so did I copy that incorrectly? Let me take a look at it. Here's the B option, use this. Name equals value. So I did the wrong syntax. Okay, so let's do that again. So logged in has to be equal 1, not :1. So I'll include the correct command for everybody to use in the chat. Okay, so let's. All right, so I think this worked. So we sent a bunch of different HTTP request headers over here, including our cookies. So we included a cookie over here called logged in equals 1. Okay, and in response, we got set cookie logged in equals 1, which is what we need to access the page. Notes by Nisha, Manlymutt says, I bookmarked Hack My VM. Thanks for the info. Yeah. We'll talk a little bit more about it later, but Notes by Nisha says, yes, I passed. I will take a good nap after the live stream. Oh, well, thank you very much for participating, Notes by Nisha. I know you must be super tired, but congratulations once more. Okay, so we got this response from the website, and it says access granted. The password for Natus 6 is this right here. Hisham Pipo asks how to hack a mobile. I'm not. So a typical way of hacking mobile devices is to get the user to install a malicious APK file. That only works. Of course, that only works if you're dealing with an Android device. I'm not too sure, but of course there must be something equivalent for iOS devices. But I'm not sure exactly how to do that. But right now we're talking about hacking websites and not mobile devices, unfortunately. But welcome to the stream, Hisham Pipa, and I hope you can learn some good stuff here. All right, so we've got the password for Natus 6, and I just pasted it into chat. So let's access the page now. So over here, Hisham people ask, what do you do now? So right now we're working through a web app hacking CTF challenge. It's called Over the Wire Natus. So let me grab the information page, Natus Over the Wire, and I'll paste in the chat, and you can take a look at it. But we're trying to log into this page right here, and that's going to be Natus level 6. Everybody, I'm providing the link in chat, and let's go to Natus level 6. Natus level 6. Okay, so as usual for Natus level 6, it's going to ask for the username and password. The username is Natus6, and you paste in the password that you got for the last level, and then click on sign in. All right, so this is a different kind of output than we're used to over here. So on this page, it says input secret, and there's a submit button, and there's also a view source code button. All right, so everybody, if you're following along, please type in what secret and a smiley face. I just want to know who's following along right now, is all. So in this input field over here, it obviously wants us to manually it says what secret, and that's a great little monkey emote. What is that? That is the :D. That's the :D. It's not :D doesn't do that for me. It's a different one. Okay. Anyways, so this obviously wants us to input some sort of secret, right? So if we just input test and click on submit, then it's going to give us the error message over here, wrong secret. And Notes by Nisha is also following along. Thank you for sharing, Notes by Nisha. Okay, so everybody, so this is how we're going to be solving this level over here. We're going to be viewing the source code. So for this challenge, we get to see the source code for the level. So what you want to do is you want to right click on the view source code tab over here, the link, and you want to click on open link in new tab so we can examine the source code. But before we talk about that, let's take a look at the presentation where we're going to be talking about source code analysis. So source code analysis is the process of analyzing the piece of code, the code of a piece of software with the goal of deeper understanding regarding its function. Okay, so over here, this is a snippet of the code that we're looking at for this particular level. In the context of web exploitation, so web app hacking or web exploitation, this is what we're doing. The code involved is usually written in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, or Java. So in order to do source code analysis, you have to be kind of literate in the language that is being used. So therefore, successful source code analysis requires a certain level of familiarity in the language the code is written in. So let's take a look at the code. So this is, remember, on all of these Natus CTF levels, the stuff in the header has nothing to do with how to solve the level. So we can ignore everything from here to here, and we only need to pay attention to everything after the header. And the source code that we're inspecting is this right here. So does anybody recognize what kind of what language this code is written in? So this is written in a very popular web app development language. Does anybody know what language this is? So the hint for what language this is these brackets right here. And there's a very specific web app development language that uses these brackets with the question mark. So if you didn't understand what this language was, you can actually ask our good friend ChatGPT. And I know I come across as kind of a shill for ChatGPT and other chatbots, but they really are very amazing. So what language is this? So you can ask this question, you can do Shift Enter, and then you can paste in your code, and ChatGPT is going to tell you what kind of code this is. So ChatGPT says the code you posted is written in PHP. So this right here indicates a PHP code snippet, because these angle brackets and with the question marks are a telltale sign of the PHP language. So this ChatGPT also explains what else is happening inside of the code, but let's talk it over instead. So inside of here, there's a keyword over here that is called include. So include, and then there's a file location over here. So include is actually a PHP keyword that functions a lot like the Python keyword import. So import and include do kind of the same thing in their respective languages, and that is to include files, to include code from files outside of this particular file. So you're able to use code from other files by using this keyword. So include means use the code from this file over here, which is /include secret.inc, so secret.inc. And this portion of the code over here, if array key exists, submit post. So if the array key exists, which is the thing that we're filling in, then we're going to submit a post request. And then if the secret variable is equal to the post variable, and the post variable is what we submit to the web page. So post is what we put in right here. So in this case, post is equal to test when we click on the submit button. But if the secret variable is equal to the thing that we submit, the post variable, then it's going to print access granted, the password for out of 7 is this. Otherwise, it's going to print wrong secret. So can anybody tell me where the secret variable is? Can anybody tell me what the secret variable is? So if the secret variable has to be compared, and this is all of the code that it's using, all the PHP code, then where is the secret variable? So because we have to compare the secret variable to the post variable. So in this case, the secret variable does not exist in this code, but we have this keyword right here, include, which points to another file. So the secret variable, because it's not here, we can only assume that the value of the secret variable is inside of this other file over here. So what we can do is we can copy this file location, and this file location is actually available on the website. So if we go over to the website and then we go up to the URL and we paste in the file location, and of course we need to make sure that there are some slashes to separate out the names of this directory right here. So we can navigate manually to this file. And inside this file, you can also see some HTTP code. So sorry, not HTTP. This is PHP code. So this is the beginning of the PHP block, and this is the end of the PHP block. And in the middle, there's exactly one thing, which is the secret variable. And then the value of the secret variable is this. So this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to use to solve the level. So because we were able to identify where the secret variable was, we can capture the secret variable here, and then we can go back to the web page, and we can input the secret variable, which is this, and click on Submit. And this is going to get us the password for Natus level 7. Okay, so I'm going to copy this. And everybody, you can use, I've included the password in the chat, and this is what we're going to use to access the last level of that we're going to be covering tonight, which is Natus level 8. So everybody, oh sorry, with the last level we're accessing tonight is Natus level 7, not Natus level 8. Okay, so everybody, let's navigate over to Natus level 7. So over here, we're going to substitute out the number 6 for the number 7, and then we're going to load up the page. All right, so Natus level 7 now. Username is going to be Natus7, and we're going to paste in the password that we got from the last level, and then click on Sign In. Okay, so this level is going to be a little bit more. It's going to be a little more challenging than the previous levels. So we've got this home button over here, and we've got the about button over here, and I think Notes by Nisha, you've solved the you've solved all the boxes at the starting point by now, right? Over at Hack the Box. So this particular web app vulnerability was covered in one of those starting point boxes, and so if we click on the home link over here, so we see that the address bar over here has changed, and there is a URL parameter in here, and you can tell what you can tell it's a URL parameter because there's going to be a question mark, and then there's going to be a key which is called page, and there's going to be a value which is equal to home. And we can also click on the about link over here, and then page equals about now, whereas previously it said page equals home. So can anybody identify what kind of vulnerability this could be? So we've got a web page which takes URL parameters, and the values of the URL parameters look like some files. Can anybody identify what kind of vulnerability this could be? And if you don't know, that's fine. I just wanted to know if anybody in the chat can identify the type of vulnerability here. Okay, so let me explain. So first of all, let's talk about URL parameters. And URL parameters are variables attached to the end of URLs. So in a lot of cases, especially if you use Google, you're not going to see just the domain of the Google page. There's also going to be a URL parameter at the end of a Google page with a bunch of stuff at the end. So let me demonstrate. So if you go to google.com, and then on google.com, you search for something. Say you were to search for HackerFrogs. So that's where you can find a lot of my HackerFrogs YouTube videos. But you see on the URL bar that it's very long. So the thing about the address bar here is that it has a lot of URL parameters in here, and this is the search. Let me explain. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste in the chat so you can take a look at it a little better. So this is a very long URL. But but you'll notice that the beginning of the URL is google.com and /search. So this is the search endpoint on google.com. And everything after the question mark that follows search is a URL parameter. And so this lets the web server know that you're sending specific parameters along with the request. And this actually lets a lot of search engines work. So URL parameters are variables attached to the end of URLs. They can be identified by the question mark directly after the web page or directory name, followed by the parameter key, key name, then the equal sign, then the value. So in this case, we've got the start of the parameter, which is the question mark, and then the key, in this case it's equal to color, and then the value, which is equal to blue. If there's more than one URL parameter sent with the request, then there's going to be a separator, which is the ampersand or and sign over here, and then another key and another value. So if there are multiple parameters included in the same URL, they're separated by the ampersand symbol. So URL parameter use cases, there are a few different reasons why web pages use URL parameters. The most common one is for search queries. So for example here, I'm going to search for apples. So it's going to be search parameter is Q for query is equal to apples. Okay, awesome. However, another common and potentially dangerous use of URL parameters is to instruct the web server on which web page to display. So this is a dangerous use, is to use the URL parameter to indicate a file to display. So in this case, the use of URL parameters which reference other files on the web server could potentially be exploited in an attack called local file inclusion, otherwise known as LFI. Local file inclusion, also known as directory traversal or path traversal, is a web app vulnerability where arbitrary local web server files can be accessed through a web interface. So you're able to access files located on the web server through the web interface, which is normally not a problem, except that using it through URL parameters enables you to potentially look at any file on the web server, which is a big problem. So LFI vulnerabilities can lead to sensitive data exposure and can also be used as the first step in a chain of exploits. So the inclusion of files in the URL parameters is a typical method through which a potential LFI vulnerability is identified. So in this case, the page parameter is set to a file that is on the system. In this case, this file called home. So we're going to take advantage of the local file inclusion on this web app in the following way. We're going to use a series of //, and each one of these is indicate an elevation up of one level in the file system, traveling from the web app's working directory, which in this case, for this particular exercise is not a 7, up to the top level directory. So we're going to use a bunch of these // to move up the file system until we get to the very top of the file system. And then once we're at the top of the file system, we're going to try to access a specific file inside of the web server. Okay, so let me demonstrate. So from the top level directory, we can provide a file path to the file that we want to access. A typical test file for local file inclusion on Linux or Unix web servers is the etc password file, since it is publicly readable by default and gives info regarding usernames on the web server. So this is what we're going to do to take advantage of local file inclusion on this challenge. So over at the NetS website, we're going to go up to the URL bar, address bar, and page equals home. So instead of home, we're going to try to use our local file inclusion exploit, and we're going to try to go up in the file system. So by going up in the file system, we have to use the following command, which is .. So we're going to do .. a number of times to get up to the top of the file system. So a bunch of .. It doesn't matter if we go overboard, as long as we get up to the top of the file system. And then after the .. we're going to try to access the directory we want to access and the file we want to access, in which case it is etc/password. So I'm going to copy the local file inclusion payload. Oh, it really doesn't like me putting that in. Okay, so everybody, I want you to try, I want everybody to try this. It doesn't want me to put this payload in. Yeah, it doesn't want, it won't let me type it in chat. But so using the local file inclusion exploit, we're going to go up to the top of the web server, and then we're going to try to go to the etc/password file. So we see from the response that there is local file inclusion on this particular web page, because we get the contents of the etc/password file over here. So the etc/password file is a Linux only file, and it includes all of the user login information for all of the users on the web server. So in this case, we see that there's a login for all of these NOTUS users, these NOTUS levels, and that indicates that we are accessing something on the web server that we should not be. So what can we do with this information? Well, let me take a look at the presentation. So let me explain about web app file access. Web apps cannot access files on the web server that are on a higher level directory than the app's working directory, which is usually located several directories down from the server's top level directory. In the LFI attack, a series of .. are used to escape the app's working directory to access other files on the web server. So what we can do is we can access the password for the next NOTUS CTF level. So this is convenient because on the page that explains about the NOTUS CTF game, it explains that each level has access to the password of the next level. Your job is to somehow obtain the next password and level up. All passwords are stored in /etc/NOTUS_webpass/ something. So for example, the password for NOTUS 5 is stored at the file etc/NOTUS_webpass NOTUS 5 and is only readable by NOTUS 4 and NOTUS 5. So we're going to use this LFI exploit to read the file etc/NOTUS_webpass NOTUS 8, because we're on NOTUS 7. We want access to the password of NOTUS 8. So what we're going to do on the web page is we're going to modify our LFI injection string, and instead of etc/password, it's going to be etc/NOTUS_webpass /NOTUS 8. Okay, so this is the file path. I will just copy the file path for everybody in here. So it won't let me paste in the full payload, but just this portion should be okay. All right, so we enter that. And this is the output over here. All right, so this is the password for NOTUS level 8. So I'm going to record this. And everybody, we finished all the NOTUS levels that we set out to do tonight. If you managed to finish all the levels for NOTUS and you followed along with us, please type local file inclusion is awesome, and then smiley face. Anyways, we managed to, I guess we could say we managed to become system root for our exercises, so I'm going to redeem this right here.
What are you?
I'm system root.
Okay, so everybody, that concludes everything we're going to be learning about web app hacking for tonight. But before we finish, let's take a look at the conclusion and the summary for what we learned tonight. So let's review the web exploitation concepts we learned in today's workshop. We learned about directory indexing. That's not true. We didn't learn about directory indexing. We learned about the HTTP refer header, which is misspelled on purpose and contains the value of a complete or partial address of a web page that is making the request. Is often used for analytics or logging. So we learned about this particular HTTP header, and we were able to modify it in order to access the web page we wanted to. And we also talked about HTTP cookies, the cookie header. HTTP cookies are commonly used as a security mechanism that allows users to maintain an authenticated user session on a website. So cookies are very common on websites, but cookies allow users to log into websites. But cookie values can be modified by the user, so we should take proper care to ensure that only valid cookie values are not predictable or easily guessed. So if you're able to guess the value of a valid login cookie, then you might be able to do some nefarious things with it. So what's next for us? In the next HackerFrogs After School Web App Hacking Workshop, we're going to continue on with NATIS CTF. So looking for more study material on this workshop's topics, inside the video, so this is not the video, so we shouldn't be paying attention to this, but we're going to be doing an extra credit exercise, and that's going to be happening on Wednesday. So on Wednesday, if you come back at the same time, we're going to go through a bunch of web app related web app challenges over at PicoCTF. So that's going to be at picoctf.org. If you do not have an account over here, I highly recommend making an account for this particular website, especially if you want to, if you're a beginner to cybersecurity. There are a lot of great challenges that you can complete over here to learn more about cybersecurity. All right, so everybody, I hope everybody enjoyed that HackerFrogs After School Web App Application Workshop. If you want to know when the next Web App Application Workshop is, you can take a look at the schedule over at our Reddit page. So our HackerFrogs, and you can find it over here. So each week we have a streaming schedule for that particular week, and it talks about all the topics we're going to be covering. So for example, in this thread, this is today over here, July 15th. We're doing HackerFrogs, Web App Basics #2. And then next week, on the 22nd, we're going to be doing Web App Hacking Basics #3. That's going to be next Monday. If you want more practice with web apps, on Wednesday, we're going to be doing Web App Hacking Basics #2, Easy Web Challenges with PicoCTF. So we're going to be using PicoCTF to solve a bunch of challenges that cover today's topics. So stuff such as modifying cookies and local file inclusion. As well, there are our secondary topics in each stream. So today we're going to be talking about Hack the Culture. We're talking about Reddit cybersecurity community. So we're going to be investigating a bunch of those and figuring out which ones are good. And on Wednesday, we're going to be talking about hacking history, where we're going to be talking about some famous hacks that happened a long time ago. Actually, this one didn't happen too long ago, but the Equifax data breach is probably one of the biggest data breaches that happened in recent history, in the last decade or so, I guess. As well, we're going to be talking about the Blaster Worm, which is a major hack that happened in the early 2000s, I'm going to say, and that affected a lot of Windows systems. So we're going to be talking about that on Wednesday, but let's move on to our second topic of the night, and that's going to be Hack the Culture. So everybody, we're going to change up our topic right now, and which means I'm going to start playing some music. Ah, that's great. Okay, and we're also going to be changing up the titles. So let me change up the titles on my overlay. So, community is a really long word, so I'm just going to shorten it to that. And for the other one, we're doing Hack the Culture. So everybody, if you have any questions or any comments about anything that we're talking about, please feel free to type in the chat. I'd love to hear from you. And let me adjust the text over here. Okay. All right, so everybody, let's start. We're talking about Hack the Culture. This is a segment on the HackerFrogs live stream where we talk about different cultural aspects of cybersecurity. So today's topic is let me see. We're going back to HackerFrogs. Everything. So a lot of our topics are also included on the HackerFrogs GitHub, and the HackerFrogs GitHub can be located over here. Let me provide a link to everybody. So we're doing Hack the Culture, and we're talking about Reddit communities over here. So we've previously done episodes of Hack the Culture on cybersecurity content creators and on Infosec conferences. If you want to take a look at some of the information we found out about those, you can always take a look at those files. But we're doing Reddit communities today. So we're going to be answering some important questions about these different Reddit communities. First of all, we're going to talk about how many members does it have, and we're going to take a look at how many posts have been in those subreddits in the last 7 days. So we're going to be trying to determine how active the subreddit is by taking a look at how many posts there are in 7 days. And we're going to talk about who the target audience of the subreddit is. So who are the people who are best served by this subreddit? You don't want to just take a look at every subreddit just because it's there. All right, so there's a bunch of different subreddits included over here. So if you want to take a look at the current document, it is right here. And if you wanted to, you could also start navigating to some of these communities on Reddit to see if they are exactly what if these are some communities that you want to participate in. So let us start. So I'm probably going to keep this page on an off monitor, and the other monitor is just going to be over at the Reddit. So I'm going to copy this and put it on my other monitor. And then I'll start editing this file. Okay, so the first subreddit we're going to talk about is the NetSec Reddit. So we're going to navigate to the NetSec page. Okay, so let's take a look at NetSec. So there's this interesting side panel, this sidebar over here, and it describes what the subreddit is all about. And in this case, it says technical information, security content, and discussion. So it's a community-curated aggregator of technical information, security content. The goal is to extract signal from the noise to provide value to the security practitioners, students, researchers, and hackers everywhere. So it says here that it's got 501,000 members. So that's a lot of members. I'm going to note that down. 501K subscribers, and it is the top 1% by size. So this is a really big cybersecurity subreddit. So what were some of the other questions? How many posts have there been in 7 days? So this is probably going to be a really busy subreddit, and I'm going to list new, and I'm going to, can you do new 7 days? I guess I think it might be kind of difficult to so the interesting thing is that it seems that it's this the subreddit is not super what is the word? Super busy. It doesn't seem super busy because it seems like there have not been all that many posts in the last 7 days. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So there's only been 15 posts in the last 7 days. So 15 posts this week. And what we have to consider is who's being served by this particular subreddit. So I would say that NetSec sounds like it's a very generic kind of cybersecurity subreddit. But I guess, so let's take a look at the rules. So the rules here say, always link to the source material, title should provide context. Okay, these are very typical rules. Friends and neighbors. So the problem with subreddits is that there's going to be a lot of overlap between the contents of subreddits, because there's NetSec, and then there's cybersecurity, and there's Ask NetSec, NetSec students, security CTF, and among these subreddits, there's going to be a lot of overlap between these different subreddits. So, what is the difference between this subreddit and the cybersecurity subreddit, for example? So, if we were to take a look at cybersecurity over here, and it looks like cybersecurity has more members than NetSec. So let's take a look at, I guess NetSec stands for network security, which means that it is more focused than cybersecurity, which is a kind of like a more general term. So if we were to go to cybersecurity, so this is a more popular board because the name of the subreddit indicates that is a broader kind of focus. NetSec talks about network security, but cybersecurity, the description here is the subreddit is for technical professionals to discuss cybersecurity news, research, threats, etc. And let me bring this up. So this is a bigger subreddit, and that cybersecurity has 853K members, and it also is top 1% as far as subreddit size. So let's take a look at how many posts there have been in the last 7 days. So go down all the way to where and see if we can go all the way down to, I hope, I certainly hope I don't see anything not safe for stream on this, on Reddit, because that would be kind of embarrassing. Okay, so there's probably going to be a lot of posts in 1 week. So we're already. So there's just a lot. I'm just gonna write a lot because I don't want to bother counting these things. Many posts this week. So this is also, so NetSec, I would say it was is general network security subreddit, and cybersecurity is also general cybersecurity. So these are the type of audiences that we're talking about when we're talking about these type of subreddits. So r/cybersecurity is really big. Let me get up to the top, and maybe we can take a look at the hot topics for this month. So hot topics for the month, we can sort by by this month. So what's hot? So here we've got phishing attacks. Phishing attacks, underestimated effect of internationalized domain names. Okay, so spot the difference. Maybank4u.com is not the same as, I don't see the difference. The letter A in the latter URL is a Cyrillic alphabet. Oh, okay, I see it now. So this A and this A are not the same. That's really clever, and that's a way you can get away with sending phishing emails to victims and have them think that the URL that they're visiting is going to be legitimate. That's really interesting. Okay, so hackers leak 39,000 printed home Ticketmaster. Oh, that's loud. Let me turn down the music a bit. Okay, so they leaked 39,000 printed home Ticketmaster tickets for 154 events. Okay, that was really big. And maybe one more. So Temu confirmed as spyware by Arkansas Attorney General, yet Google still allows Temu ads. So this is referencing a really big story where apps that originate in China are not trusted, and people feel very paranoid about them, as in they could have the potential to send all of your data to the Chinese government. For what purposes? That's anybody's guess. So the biggest culprit for this kind of thinking is the TikTok app, which is probably the most popular app on both the Google Play Store and the Apple Store. So everybody says that that teenagers these days are addicted to TikTok. So that's what prompted the U.S. government to the U.S. government banned TikTok because they felt that it was an app that was being controlled by an enemy nation. So that's why they're going ahead with their ban of the TikTok app. But yeah, so these are the type of stories that you can find on r/cybersecurity. Let's look at another popular cybersecurity subreddit, and this one is going to be Ask NetSec. So let's journey over there. So an interesting thing about the spelling of these subreddits is that if you don't, sometimes you can get away with not capitalizing the names of these subreddits correctly, and it'll still bring you to them. But sometimes, if you don't capitalize the subreddit properly, it's just not going to work, and it's going to give you an error. So the spelling, the capitalization of the names of these subreddits is very important. So this is r Ask NetSec. So what does it say? Dedicated to those passionate about security. So we've got 203K members. Let me note that down. 203K. And it is also a top 1% web subreddit. And let's take a look at how many posts there have been this week. So Ask NetSec, I guess from the name, it implies that they want questions about network security from the people here, and that they're going to be some experts on the subreddit. They're going to answer these questions. all submissions must be in the form of a question. So these are Jeopardy rules. Questions about possible or confirmed incidents must contain sanitized technical evidence, okay? All right, so let's see how active the this subreddit is. So we're going to go by new, and then we're going to go down to about a week ago. Okay, so it doesn't seem like there are going to be a lot of. So this is 8 days ago. This is 7 days ago. Okay, so let's count the number of posts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, so this one had 17 posts this week. So I'm going to note that down. 17 posts this week. And this is also, I guess you could also call this a general cybersecurity sub. Okay. And as far as the type of stories that are being featured over here, let's take a look at the top. And we'll go by top by this month. Okay, so this is from about a month ago. So pen test flagging things critical when using domain admin. So I wanted to ask if this is normal with the results of the recent pen test we've engaged. The company sent a laptop, and they were unable to gain a foothold and asked for the domain account to begin testing from a compromised account perspective. 2 days later, they were unable to obtain domain admin and asked to have the test account elevated to DA to see if they get into Azure. They successfully got into Azure AD with this domain account admin. Okay, so this is talking about. Oh, okay. So what this post is probably asking about is if it's fair to say that anything that the pen testers found when using the domain admin account, because the pen testers needed to already be domain admin to obtain this information. So this is an interesting topic right here. Okay, so for myth, passwordless is less secure than multi-password authentication. Bust. Read our guide to find out. So, oh, this is an ad. Never mind. Okay, someone is impersonating my business and costing us thousands. They are in your email as well. Please help. Okay, so I guess this is not a general NetSec sub. This is a questions NetSec sub. So network security, but people are asking for help. All right. Okay. I think I've got a better understanding of this sub right here. Next, we're going to talk about Infosec. So, what is the difference between our Infosec, our cybersecurity, and our NetSec? These are important questions. So let's go over to Infosec. Okay, and so this is a smaller sub. It says information security, and that's all there is in the description box over here. And there's only one moderator, so that kind of points to the smaller nature of this subreddit as well. So it's top 4% in size. It has 27K members. Let me note down this information. It is 27K. And it is top 4%. All right. Next, we want to take a look at the number of posts there have been this week. Oh, I'm sorting by new, but the first one is from 4 months ago. That's not a good sign. let me reload this page. I just want to make sure that that this information is correct. When I sort by new, the newest one is from 4 months ago. And if I sort by hot, then I get more posts, but it seems like this sub is dead because the newest one is from 4 months ago. The newest post is from 4 months ago. I'm going to label this last is 4 months old, and I guess we could label this a dead sub. And so if we go by top and we go by this year, so the topics of the posts over here are stuff like Move It Hack, ransomware attacks explained, the death of Infosec Twitter. So I guess you could call this like a general Infosec sub. General sub. But unfortunately, it seems to me that everybody who posts here probably posts somewhere else now. So it's I guess this is what happens when you try to have too many subreddits that occupy the same space. That some of them are inevitably going to fall by the wayside. So if you're a big fan of this subreddit, then I apologize for my harsh words. Let's move on to another subreddit. Okay, so let's move over to hacking, because that sounds interesting. All right, so next subreddit is hacking. Okay, so whoa, this is really big. This is a really big subreddit. Okay, so what does the description say? It says, Hacking Security in Practice, a subreddit dedicated to hacking and hackers, constructive collaboration and learning about exploits, industry standards, gray and white hat hacking, new hardware and software hacking technology, sharing ideas and suggestions for small businesses and personal security. It has 2.7 million with an M. 2.7 M, and of course it is going to be a top 1%. Okay, so I'm gonna assume that there were many posts this week, but we'll start going into our hacking by new, and we've got 3 hours ago. I'm going to scroll down a little bit to see how far we can get on the timeline. Okay, so 20 days ago, Bloodhound CE refusing to work. Okay. So maybe there are not as many posts on here in about a week as we might expect for such a big sub. Let me see if I can count them. Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, this is still a lot of posts. So it's this is a fairly active sub, I would say. And I guess this is probably the biggest general hacking sub over here. And general hacking sub. And let's take a look at a couple of the big posts. So top posts from this month. Okay, so made my first payment as a 16-year-old. What? Oh, okay. So we're talking about bug bounties. So this person got paid out $500 for a critical level severity bug that they found on a website. And yeah, $500 when you're a 16-year-old is pretty big. All right, cool. So what kind of what kind of cyber attack would this be? There's a mouse or hamster gnawing on your cables. All right. So which do you miss the most, if any? What they took from us? Oh, okay. So I guess this is progression from many ports to everything using USB-C, which is this right here. And here we've got our Ethernet, and we've got our... Man, how many can I... Okay, a bunch of USB. There's the audio jacks right there. Okay. Alright, have you tried this before? Wireless internet signal air path conditioner. Just spray around the room where you're getting slow speeds and wait for the impeding air molecules to dissipate. Alright, so there's a fair amount of humor on this sub as well, so I guess that's why this sub is so active and so popular. Awesome. So R hacking, I'm going to note this as something I want to visit later. So there's a lot of humor here. I guess you really want humor on your popular subs if you keep everything super serious on a sub. It means that people are probably going to engage with it less. Okay, so that is our hacking, and I guess there's so many of these. I guess computer security. I think this is going to be a smaller one, but could be wrong. I'm going to navigate to our computer security. Okay, computer security. This is a top 3%. It has 36K members. 36K, and it is top 3%. Okay, let's see how active it is. Oh, this is not very active. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There are only 4 posts this month, this week. So 4 posts. So I guess it's because there are not very many members in this sub, and that's why there are not very many. This is also another generic sounding subreddit. It's computer security, IT security news, articles and tools. This is the type of subreddit that overlaps a lot with the other general network security and hacking subreddits. So that's probably why there are not very many posts here. But let's take a look at some of the top posts from this month. Okay, so here, OpenAI breach is a reminder that AI companies are treasure troves for hackers. So if we're talking about AI companies and the large language models that they employ, it's very important to note that that hackers and other security researchers have already found ways to convince chatbots into giving up information that they should not, which means that with enough time and effort, almost. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's guaranteed that anybody with enough time and effort is going to be able to get super serious, sensitive information from chatbots. But I think that there's going to be that there are gonna be a lot of companies that are going to regret them integrating AI into their websites and their applications because of how prominent and well researched that prompt injection is going to become. Okay, next we have, where's a safe place to store passwords and important information from Moto. I'm looking for some safe way to store passwords and important data. This is because there are too many different. Okay, so this person just needs to be recommended some sort of password manager app. So this particular subreddit does not impress me a lot, but I will note that is a general Infosec sub. Okay, so what are we going to look at next? Let's take a look at NetSec Focus. So NetSec Focus also sounds like a kind of generic one, but let's take a look at its content. I think NetSec Focus is a fairly popular sub, but not found. Did I spell that correctly? Let me try that again. NetSec Focus. Let me try searching for it. So does NetSec Focus not exist? Okay. Well, I'm going to note that I wasn't able to find it. And I'm going to move on to the next one. So here we've got NetSec students. So let's try out that one. So Reddit, NetSec students. Okay, so what is this? So NetSec Students is separated for students studying network security and its related subjects, a place to share resources, ask questions, and help other students learn network security specialties of all kinds. Please read rules before posting. Okay, so this is a fairly popular sub. Let me see. NetSec students. Okay, so I found it in my list. I'm going to bring it back up to the top. Okay, so this is 126K, and it's top 2% in size. Let's take a look at how active it is. So this is going to be new. And this could be fairly okay. It's not as active as I thought it'd be. So is 1, 2, 3, only three posts from the last week or so. 3 posts this week. So let's take a look at some of the posts here. So we're gonna go top. We're gonna go top this month. Okay, so we've got this post here, cybersecurity checklist, anti-SQL injection protection, SSL and OpenSSL up to date. Okay, and the last thing is prevent the PM from sending the whole unencrypted database by email. Okay, there's some humor there. I published a free 3.5-hour course on building a malware analysis lab from the ground up. Okay, so how to keep up with the latest in cybersecurity. An XSS lab site over here. All right, so all right, so I guess this is a a general student Q&A. Q&A student resources sub. All right, so let's move on to the next subreddit. So what I want to do, I think I've taken a look at a lot of these. Let's take a look at something that is a bit off the wall. And this next one is called Hack Block. So this is going to be politics mixed with hacking, and it's probably going to be a lot more interesting than NetSec students. Let's take a look. Okay, so this is Hack Block. It's hacktivism, crypto anarchy, darknet's free culture. Proudly feminist, anarchist, and anti-capitalist, and anarchistic hackers. Anarchist hackers, and it's 26K members. So this is a pretty small sub. 26K. But let's see how. Oh, this looks like a dead sub. Okay, let's go by new. And let's go. The last one was 3 years ago, so this is a dead sub. So the concept for this is hacktivism and anarchy and politics stuff. Unfortunately, it seems to be a dead sub. 3 years ago, last post, and unfortunately, this sub is dead. But it's all about hacktivism. I'm kind of curious to see what the biggest posts were here, what the biggest posts here were, and I'm going to go biggest of all time. So 11 years ago, revealed NSA program collects nearly everything a user does on the internet. Okay, so this is, yeah, NSA spying on millions of Americans. LavaBit fell on its sword protecting Edward Snowden. So this is highly politicized kind of cybersecurity content. All right, let's move on to the next thing. And the next thing is going to be, how about security career advice? So that is something that that kind of overlaps with what our organization, HackerFrogs, is trying to do. And let's take a look at what is here. All right, we've got security career advice. It's got 39K members. Let me note that down. It is a top 3%. Okay, it says, like CS career questions, only cooler. This is a place to connect those seeking to learn with those who have walked the path before. Ask your questions about cybersecurity careers here, and mentors can choose to answer as they have time. Ask, mentor, grow. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. All right, let's see how active the sub is. So it seems pretty active for a smaller sub. Let's take a look at what we have here in the last 7 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13. 13 posts in the last 7 days. All right, that's pretty good. It seems like people here are very active. So the thing about these kind of subs is that you're going to be answering a lot of the same questions. People say, I'm coming from this background, how do I get into cybersecurity? Or is it possible for a person who is not technical to get into cybersecurity? Or is it okay to try to get into cybersecurity even though I'm like 30 or 40 or 50 or something like that? Let's see if I'm accurate about these predictions. So we're gonna go top for this month. So okay, here we go. 25 years old, trying to enter the cybersecurity space and needing some guidance. All right. So I think that people from the HackerFrogs community could really benefit from posting in here as well. And I guess you can fill in your own information. 8+ years in cybersec, and still in cybersec, 0 interviews. Am I missing something here? This is an interesting post. Okay, I've applied to dozens of cyber jobs relevant to my experience. I'm in a senior role, and I'm applying to senior positions. I'm in a senior role. Okay, so this person has been working in cybersecurity for 8 years and is trying to apply for another cybersecurity role but is not able to get interviews. No interviews, no screening calls, live in the US and applying to US positions, multiple cyber certs. This seems kind of, I'm very curious to click in here and to find out what this is all about. Okay, minimal ghostings. I do receive generic rejection emails. Well, how bad was his resume? I can PM it to you if you'd like. Sure, sent. Just seeing now. Feedback include within the next hour or so. Can you make an offline copy? Feedback sent. Lots of room for improvement. Okay. Huh. So this person adds a little bit of context over here. Was at one company for over 10 years and those people are still there. And I don't intend on returning, so my networking is minimal during that time. Better now, though. So here's my advice. So the OP, the original poster here, says they were at one company for over 10 years, and he wasn't doing so much social networking during that time. And the key to getting a good job in cybersecurity is knowing a lot of people who are already in the industry, preferably at different companies, and those people can help you find jobs or roles. I mean, it really helps to have friends in the industry when you're trying to find your first job or your second job or your 10th job in cybersecurity. If you help out your friends are more inclined to help you, and that's going to really help with job hunting as far as cybersecurity or any other field is concerned, really. So if you're new to cybersecurity, my top recommendation is to find a cybersecurity meetup in your area, in your city, and go and make friends. Because eventually, one of those people you meet at those meetups might help you find your first job. All right, so let's move on. So that was security career advice, and I guess it was advice cybersecurity, Infosec, advice sub. Okay. All right, let's move on to our next one, and the next one, let's hit up a specialized one, which is r/reverse engineering. So something went wrong. Too many of these. Okay. All right, so this is r/reverse engineering. it says it's a moderated community dedicated to all things reverse engineering. So reverse engineering is a very specialized field inside of cybersecurity. It's all about getting the secrets out of programs via various means. If that sounds kind of vague, it's let's have ChatGPT answer the question for us. What is software reverse engineering? Answer in 2 sentences or less. Okay, so software reverse engineering is the process of analyzing a software system to identify its components and understand its design and implementation. It is often used to uncover how a program works, extract knowledge from proprietary systems, or to find vulnerabilities. So this is a very important specialization within cybersecurity because it is through reverse engineering that security researchers are able to understand how viruses work. So if there's a computer virus, we have to understand how it works and what it's doing in order to come up with a way to combat it. Okay? So reverse engineering is a 147K sub. Let me note down that number, 147K. And it's in the top 2%, so that's pretty big. So because reverse engineering is highly specialized sub, I expect that there would not be as much engagement over here. So maybe not so many threads that are made every day. But let's take a look at the new subs, at the new topics rather. And it could be that I am proven wrong. So how many do we have here? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 posts this week. So the people here are fairly active, so that is great to see. And as far as reverse engineering, let's take a look at what their top posts are for this month. Okay, so this is inside the tiny chip that powers Montreal subway tickets. So I guess Montreal has NFC, near field communication chips inside of their subway tickets. So there's an article about that. There's reverse engineering Ticketmaster's rotating barcodes. All right, so this sounds like a highly technical article over here. And resurrecting a dead Dune RTS game. Real-time strategy stuff. Rewriting completely the GameSpy support from 2000 to 2004 using reverse engineering on EA and Bungie games. Okay, so I guess, man, the stuff here is all super technical, and I didn't expect that there would be so many people actively engaging in this stuff. But I guess this is probably one of the largest reverse engineering subs on Reddit. So that's very impressive. Okay, so reverse engineering sub. So let's take a look at, oh, this looks fun. So this next sub is called Pwned. And let's take a look at what that sub is all about. Okay, so Pwned, this is discussing news of recent breaches, leaked/stolen data, and other examples of pwnage affecting the confidentiality or integrity of data. And we've got 46K members. So this is a news site. 47K, 46K, and So I didn't know that this was this is a news sub. I would assume. And let's see how active it is. Oh, is this a dead sub? This is a dead sub. Let me reload this and make sure. So the last new post in this sub was from 2 months ago. And I guess 2 months ago, last post, and that's a dead sub. And this is an Infosec news sub. And I guess this sub was not as popular as other. I'm not sure where there are other Infosec news subs, or if people just post the news on other general Infosec subs, and that's why this sub is dead. But sad to see that there's a dead sub here. But let's move on to the OSCP. Oh, how to hack. Here's one. So let's take a look at how to hack. Okay, so your open hacker community. Welcome, this is your open hacker community designed to help you on the journey from neophyte to veteran in the world of underground skill sets. Ask, answer, learn. Visit us on Discord, okay? It is a big sub. It has 449K. Let me note that down. 449. And it is a top 1% sub. So because this is a top 1% sub, I can only assume that there is going to be a lot of activity. So I'm going to go by new, and I'm going to scroll down a bunch. Wait, maybe it's not as active a sub as I thought. Wow. Okay, so this is a pretty big sub, but it seems like in the last week, 1, 2, 3, 5, they've only been 6 posts in the last week. So that's like a post a day. Habibur Ramen just subscribed via YouTube. Thank you very much, Habibur Ramen. Let's give you a redeem. We're going to redeem Hack the Planet for you.
Hack the planet! Hack the planet! Shut up again!
Welcome to the channel, Habibur Ramen. All right. So we're talking about how to hack. I guess that this is a fairly quiet sub. I'm not sure why, but this is 6 posts in the last week. And I wonder why this sub is not as active as some other ones. Let's take a look at what the top posts are from this particular sub. Oh, we're moving kind of slow. Okay, so top post from this month. Best way to search for emails, passwords, and the latest RockU 2024. What? RockU 2024? Was there a leak from RockU in 2024? Wait, I have to look this up. RockU 2024. So RockU is a famous password list that was leaked out to the public. I guess I'm gonna say it was maybe 20 years ago. and it's a list of a bunch of common passwords. But according to this this post over here, there was a Rocky 2024 leak. Let me read about this really quick. All right, so Rocky 2024, 10 billion passwords leaked in the largest compilation of all time. Well, what does it say? I'm going to make the text nice and big so we can read together. I'm going to reject all cookies. The king is dead, long live the king. Cyber News researchers discovered what appears to be the largest password compilation with a staggering, how many? So it's 9,948 million. The file with the data titled RawQ 2024 text.txt was posted on July 4th by forum user Obamacare. Okay, so I guess the next time you want to check for the next time you want to do password cracking, you could use this leak, this leaked list over here, which is RawQ 2024. I might do an extra segment covering just this RawQ 2024. I'm gonna put it in my notes. Hold on. That's very interesting. 2024 passwords. Okay. You learn something new every day. All right, so we're going to stop talking about this. So that was from 9 days ago. All right, so would the entire source code of this site be visible? Would the entire source code of the site being visible be considered a security issue? So I've been programming in TypeScript, JavaScript, and some Python for a while now. I'm very new to things like pen testing and bug bounties. So I generally don't know whether the entire source code of the site being visible would be a security vulnerability. Not just talking about the stuff, but also the complete uncompiled TypeScript is visible for a site. So this is probably some portion of the website that has a copy of all of this source code. And if so, that's definitely a big problem, because attackers could go and analyze the source code for any potential security vulnerabilities. So this is yeah, that's really bad. Okay, so looking for a specific hacking video and help understanding tracing techniques. Okay, remove emails from a list of passwords in Hashcat. Remove emails. So I have a formatted, okay, so this person obviously wants to reformat his hash file. That's not hard to do. You could probably do it with something like Chat. Well, maybe you don't want to put it into ChatGPT, but otherwise you could run maybe a Python script that removed just the string that you were looking for, and maybe you could also do it with some common Linux tools such as sed or awk. But that's a few different methods you could use to do that. All right, let's move on to the next sub. So that's how to hack, and I guess hacking tutorial sub. Let's move on to the next thing, and let's talk about how to hack and hacking tutorials. Seems like it would be very similar. So let's take a look at the next one, hacking tutorials, and see if it's any different from how to hack. Community not found. Did I misspell? Oh, this is misspelled. Tutorials. Okay, I misspelled that. Let me correct my spelling. Okay, so what is this? It is a forum for security professionals and white hat hackers. Hacking tutorials is a sub where Redditors can post various resources that discuss and teach the art of hacking and penetration pen testing while staying ethical and legal. We are not here to promote any kind of hacking services. Say legal. Okay, so this is a smaller sub than the last one. Okay, so this one has 288k members, and it is also top 1%. And okay, so what I want to do is I want to compare the engagement on this sub as opposed to the last one. So we're going to see how many posts there were this week. So this is looking pretty good. Okay, so within 7 days, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 30, 31, 32, 33. Wow. Okay, so this was 33 posts in the last week. And I guess this is another hacking tutorial sub. But this one is a lot more active than the last one, which was how to hack. I wonder why that is. But let's take a look at what some of the top posts this month are. Okay, oh, this is nice. So top YouTube channels to learn cybersecurity. All right, so everybody, I'm going to leave this link in the comments just in case you want to take a look at it, because this would be very useful to, you know what, I'm going to copy that to my notes, because HackerFrogs, people in the HackerFrogs community could probably use this stuff as well. But let's take a look at some of the, oh, how do we make this bigger? I'll put it in a new tab. Okay, so we've got stuff like David Bombo, Null Byte, Network Chuck, Cyber Truth, Hackersploit. I recognize a lot of this stuff. Huh. Okay, so anyways, everybody, if you want to take a look at these particular YouTube channels, please go ahead and take a look at the link that I've left in the chat. But let's go back. So top YouTube channels to learn cybersecurity. This was really big from about a month ago, and let me make this smaller. Network basics. Okay, so this looks like a lot of notes. Hacking the hacker who doesn't understand why you can't see my password. Me who set my password is 8 asterisks. Okay. So I think the difference between this sub and the last sub is that this sub is okay with having humor in its posts. So I guess it's a little bit less serious than the last one. So that's why this sub is more popular than the last one. Okay, and we can say that this is another hacking tutorial sub. Let's take a look at a couple more before we wrap up. But let's take a look at cybersecurity jobs. So I assume it's going to be popular. It's going to be similar to the security career advice sub, maybe a little different. And let's take a quick look. Okay, so what does it say here? It's a forum for discussing cybersecurity career information. So this is a fairly large sub. It's top 4%. This has 29K members. It's top 4%. Let's see how active it is. Sort by new. Okay, yeah, it's fairly active. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we've got 15 posts this week. And this is a Infosec career advice sub. And let's take a look at what kind of questions are being asked here. So we'll go top of this month. Okay, so it says, why do I feel like no one is actually hiring? I get paid a lot of money for a professional resume rewrite. In my opinion, as someone who has interviewed folks in the industry, they did a great job. So why have I submitted well over 100 applications on LinkedIn and directly on company sites over the last 30 days with absolutely no callbacks? So this is, there has to be a reason why this person is not being hired. Okay, so, this looks like a cross post from the other sub. 8 years in cybersec and still no cybersec. 0 interviews. Okay, next one is help desk the only way into cool IT jobs? Hey everybody, cybersecurity hopeful here, working away at some certs, currently studying math and stats in college, interested in cybersecurity through some exposure. I'm currently gaining through an internship. Whenever I'm on here, most of the advice to commenters say, most entry-level cybersecurity jobs are really mid-level IT jobs. 2, recommending starting at something like help desk and moving up. So I can say that I can give if I were to give some advice to this person here, I would say that you don't need to work in an entry-level help desk job in order to get your foot in the door as far as cybersecurity is concerned. But you have to know your stuff and you have to know the right people. You're probably not going to be able to get an entry-level job in any cybersecurity role unless you know the right people and you have the right skills. So you have to develop those skills. You have to develop your skills on your own and be proficient. And secondly, like the other really big factor to getting your first InfoSec job without working previously in in some sort of tech role is to know the right person who can introduce you into the role, which would bypass the HR filter. And that would be my advice to this particular poster over here. But okay, so that was cybersecurity jobs, which is not security career advice. And let's do one more. So this one over here is called Our Crypto. And I hear this is I get the feeling that this is a really old subreddit. And crypto is not cryptocurrency. Thank you very much. So it says cryptography, news, and discussions. So cryptography is the art of creating mathematical assurance for who can do what with data, but not limited to encryption of messages such that only the key holder can read it. Cryptography lives at the intersection of math and computer science This is a technical subreddit covering the theory and practice of modern and strong cryptography. So although they have a lot of members over here, I get the feeling that I would guess that this subreddit over here is not very popular because the subject matter is very esoteric. But I would love to be wrong about this, but already I get the feeling that this might be a dead sub. Okay, so let's take a look at the new posts. Oh, I'm happy to see that this is that there's some posts that were posted here just a couple hours ago. Okay, so let's see how many posts there have been in the last 7 days. Oh, awesome. Awesome. Okay, so not super popular, not super active. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 posts. Okay. So I was wrong. I was wrong. This is a fairly active subreddit. And although this is kind of a niche topic inside of cybersecurity, and there are a lot of people in cybersecurity that don't understand very much about cryptography at all, it is absolutely very, very important that we include strong cryptography in all of our security and in all of our applications in order to keep the bad guys from being able to read our stuff. So if we didn't have cryptography inside of our apps, we wouldn't be able to do stuff like online shopping or online banking. Because, yeah, whoa, what is this music? I'm skipping this. Ah, much better. Alright. So, okay, so our crypto, yeah. Cool. Let's see what kind of posts that they're talking about. So top posts from this month. Oh, okay. So I'm not going to be able to understand any of this stuff. So this is a type of AES cipher that they're talking about. AES 256 XAES, and so they're talking about different ciphers in these threads. Reconstructing public keys from signatures. So this is completely out of my depth. I would love to study more cryptography when I have some extra time to study. But yeah, well, I'm glad this sub exists, and I'm glad that there are a lot of passionate people who are passionately discussing cryptography on Reddit. But I won't be able to participate in this stuff. All right, so this is a cryptography discussion sub, and I guess it's highly technical. All right, so everybody, we're going to wrap it up there. Let me reformat my list over here so that anybody who wants to take a look at what we didn't cover can take a look at what we talked about today. So if anybody wants to take a look at the stats from what we talked about and discovered from today's session, you can take a look at it over at this link right here, which is the HackerFrogs GitHub repository. Okay, so everybody, thank you very much for everybody who attended today's stream. Special thank you to Notes by Nisha. Congratulations again on your EJPT certification that you passed just this weekend, and we will see you next time. The next stream is going to be on Wednesday, so let me go to our own subreddit, which is HackerFrogs. So the next stream is going to be Wednesday, July 17th. It's going to be at the same time as today's stream, which is 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to be doing extra credit for the first hour. We're going to be talking about web app hacking basics. Specifically, we're going to be talking about cookies, challenges that involve cookies, and challenges that include local file inclusion. And we're going to be working on the Pico CTF platform. And as our secondary topic, we're going to be talking about 2 historical hacks, the Equifax data breach that happened in 2017, as well as the Blaster worm that happened way longer than that. But to everybody here, thank you very much for watching. We will see you next time, and let's end off with some go to hack.
Mr. Hat, may I please be excused from class?
Well, Carl,
Yes.
you hear me? You go to
Hack.
You go to
Hack.
You
Have a great day. All right, everybody, have a great day, everybody, and we will see you on Wednesday.